Yo, Brandon. You're 3 Chainz, Brandon, now.
I'm 3 Chainz, Brandon, now. Well, let me talk about this. I'm 3 Chainz, Brandon. I've had some great weeks. I just got back from vacation. If you guys noticed, my home studio, we're back. I kind of vacation. I feel like I worked harder than I did when I'm not on vacation. Guys, join the Discord. I have noticed the last few weeks we fell off a little bit. YouTube fell off, Discord fell off, the Patreon. Everything's been crashing a little bit. Guys, let me break this down. It's $6 a week, right? How much stupid stuff do you spend for $6 a week? And it's not some scammy, we're the best, we're the best of the best. We have a ton of smart people. I made $7,000 on bare knuckle the night before I left for the trip. Like, not a big investment, and it was easy. It was cake. We have such smart guys in the group. We have one kid in our group who never watched tape and would just watch YouTubers. And he's kind of coming onto his own. He's making his own content now, and he's winning a ton of these bets. Like, he aced crazy bets last week. He did great on Contender tonight. We gave him his own section, and he's still killing it. So guys, it's $6 a week. Even if you're not a big bettor, take $125, right? 25 for our greedy pig pockets, and you take $100 and you play conservatively, $10 at a time. I bet you're going to make more than $25 in the month between the NASCAR that we have, the basketball, the Contender Series, bare knuckle, UFC. Guys, we did so well last week, and this is not just like pump it up, but we've been silent. We haven't talked about it in a few weeks, so it's time. I miss the community. I miss seeing new faces. Everybody adds a little something to the group. So stop being like that. Go join the Discord and the Patreon.
And it's a lot of fun. The Discord's a lot of fun. The Patreon and the Discord, they're linked together. You sign up for one, you get them both. But, we post the pics on the Patreon. I mean, that's what you're getting. But the Discord is a lot of fun. We're on there. We're talking during the fights, talking trash during the fights. You went, 10 out of 11 last week on your picks?
No idea. No clue, but yes.
I think you went 10 out of 11. I went 9 out of 10. We're killing it. Come on, you guys. This is just silly. And somebody posted today, I put a post up on Instagram about the Discord. Somebody started with $350 in their bank account. And they built that up to $1,400 before they cashed out some just on our picks. So,
nice.
Dude, people are paying their mortgage. Get on it. It's fun. It's $6 a week.
It's fun. We put in the work. It's literally sick. When you break it down, guys, there was a lot of talk at the beginning, what we should charge. And I'm like, no. We need to be a premium service, $100 a month, $150 a month. And the reason that we settled on what we've settled on is because they didn't want the pressure. I used to run this group for free. $25 a month per person for me. And I know there's cheaper ones out there, but we have a world-class coach. We have a current MMA fighter and, a former jiu-jitsu person, whatever. I don't care. But you're getting not fat guys on the couch. And, I've seen a lot of people, they charge $200 a card or $50 a card. We charge $25 a month because I didn't want pressure. I wanted it to be affordable for everybody. And where if I go on vacation for a week and I'm not studying every single fight, you guys can relax. You'll be okay. It's $6 a week. We're going to get that back next week. And I'll still give you some good stuff. So, guys, quit playing. Go sign up. That's the last we're going to do of this crazy hard promo. We'll still promote it, everything. But I miss seeing you guys' faces. And it's been a while. And
really what Brandon's saying is 3 Chainz Brandon needs to turn into 4 Chainz Brandon. So we need a lot more $6 a week people to come on, because those are not plated people. Those are real gold. And he needs to be 4 or 5 Chain Brandon. I need 4 or 5 Chain Brandon over there just to look at. I need as much bling as we can.
You look like right now, you look like somebody that would be wearing chains. You look like a Sopranos with your track jacket.
Oh, wait. You know how many tracksuits I have. Wait till it gets a little colder. All you guys are going to see me in is track. Well, you guys aren't going to see track suits. You'll just see the jacket, because for all you know, I'm not wearing any clothes at all. I wish I wasn't. I wish I was sitting here.
I wish you weren't either.
With nothing on. Yeah, just because it'd be weirder. But I'm not. But anyway, this is the nicest track jacket ever. It's an authentic 1970s version. It's not actually from the 70s. It's I forget, Tracksmith or something like that. They don't sponsor me or anything. It's just a really nice tracksuit. So
they should sponsor you. Where are our sponsors, by the way?
Where are our sponsors? We have our sponsor. One, you guys, I've been cheating a little bit. I'm going with Tangerine today. LaCroix, tangerine.
That's okay.
From the
If you have
beginning,
every single one as limoncello, then it's not a treat anymore.
see, exactly. So, and actually, I would have done limoncello, but I opened my cupboard, and we don't even keep our LaCroix in the cupboard. For some reason, there was like 10 single cans of tangerine LaCroix up there, so I drank like 5 of them. And anyway, so we've got LaCroix. Of course, you guys go to betonline.ag, use code SDMMA. BetOnline is our preferred bookie, and we've told you guys this. You know, I put it in some of the promo stuff before. We don't talk about BetOnline because they sponsor us. I went out and searched and talked to BetOnline because we loved them and we wanted a book that we actually liked to sponsor us, that we actually talked about, because BetOnline is the best book there is. And so we were like, man, I'd rather not have any book than the crappy books that are out there. So betonline.ag. What was that?
Big Dick Dave Mason. That's my guy.
Betonline.ag. Use code SDMMA for 50% sign-on bonus. Last week's card, we were talking about Cyril Gahn on the last card. I mean, he got hit. He got rocked. He fell like a bag of bricks. Recovered well.
Of baguettes.
He fell like a bag of cereal. How good is he? God, he's that good. He should be the champion. He should be the champion of the world if he didn't go full retard in round 5 and pull an ankle lock and end up on bottom.
Yeah.
How dumb is that? For a guy so good, how dumb is that?
It's horrible decision making. But those are the kind of things when you're that good in the gym, you don't, I imagine, get put there that often. I mean, how many 6'5", African super soldiers is he training with in France? Not many. So how often does he end up in that situation where he's on bottom or he's, going to pull a leg lock to win a fight?
Wait. Hold on. I got to interrupt you. You say not many. He used to train with him, with Ngannou.
Yeah, not France. Many. There's one. There's one, only one.
He used to train with that guy that he fought in France, I believe. Anyway, we got a good card, but man, that was crazy. I actually didn't. You want what's funny is I like I said, I was 9 out of 10 or whatever I said I was on the Patreon. I didn't even bet. I was up in the mountains and I put my stuff up on Patreon. I gave all my picks to everybody else. Forgot the card was in the morning, and we were at like 7 a.m. We were already driving to like the most beautiful, pristine river in the Northeast Arizona. It was amazing. And then on my way back, I was like, oh crap. Like I didn't bet anything. So you guys made out, but I didn't do anything.
I did the exact same. Remember when the London card was going on? I was like, great, this is the big moneymaker card. I think I ended up doing like 40,000 on the London card. So I'm eyeing down this Paris card. Like, this is going to be the same thing. We just got to go with the French fighters. It's pretty clear and pretty easy. And then I was in California, so I didn't have access to the legals. I only had Bovada, and all my limits are destroyed there. I can't put any real money down. And I was having a good time, so I didn't touch anything. And just like you, I'm driving back, like listening to the fights. I didn't put any money down, so it was just cool to see everybody else make money, even if I couldn't get on it. We'll get there this week.
Yeah. Sometimes these things happen in MMA. This week we got a weird card. We briefly touched on it earlier. We have Danyelle Wolf, who has one MMA fight. We've got Melissa Martinez, who's 7-0, has never fought anyone with a pulse and hasn't fought in 3 years. We've got a few of these like Pickett and Tiuliulin, which is like, which one of these guys can the UFC get rid of faster? Darian Weeks and Lainesse, same thing. Just a weird card. And I like the top of the card. I actually like the top of the card. Bottom of the card is just kind of weird. Collier, Barnett, like, I don't know. What's your thought on the actual card itself? Forget about betting, but just the.
Then I don't care about the card. If it's not about betting, I don't really care about the card at all. I'd rather watch Collier kickboxing or something. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I mean, if it was free and there wasn't betting involved, and it was
this not free? This card,
dude, this is a pay-per-view.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
That's what I'm saying. This is a pay-per-view. This is a weird card for being a pay-per-view. That's why I was like dumbfounded over here. I mean, look, Khamzat and Nate Diaz, interesting fight. Pay-per-view?
Okay, yeah.
Like,
honestly, I don't even really want to watch it. I don't care.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Jingling Lee. I mean, cool with Ferguson. Like, come on, man. This is a fight night. This is a fight night, and Nate
I still
Diaz
gonna
is on
pay
it.
though.
Oh, of course, I'm gonna pay. I mean, you could get the worst LFA card on the planet, throw UFC on it, and I'm gonna buy it. Um, you know, so it is what it is. Well, let's get this party started. We've got where are we? Darian Weeks, Yohan, Lainesse, Lainesse.
See, I don't know.
Lainesse. Darian Weeks is minus 119. Lainesse is minus 101. Who do you got here, Brandon? What do you like? What do you like on this?
I'm glad that I can kick this one off because I guess the theme for this card is going to be. Let me see. What do I want to think as the theme of this card? It's people without redeeming qualities, and we're going to find a few of those people, obviously, on this card. But Yohan is the first one. Okay, Yohan, he's solid striker. I mean, he hits hard. He hits like a truck. They're clean, straight punches. They're not like crazy insane. But he gets tired. He can't wrestle. He's got so many holes in his game, and I don't know how you can put serious money behind somebody like that. Now, on the flip side, and I think we talked about this a little bit, Darian Weeks not bad. Darian Weeks has had kind of two tough fights. I mean, we give Barberena crap, but Barberena's got good cardio, and he's always in there. He's always in there, always fighting, mixing up his game. And he fought to a pretty close fight with that one. And then he fought Ian Gary. I mean, what are you going to do with Ian Gary? Ian Gary's he's the future. I like Darian Weeks here. For me, it's really, really, really hard to ever make a case to bet on the guy that's just got the horrible cardio, especially when Darian Weeks has wrestling upside. You know, we did see him wrestle in the Brian Barberena fight. Pretty hard to take down a guy who moves like a freaking cheetah and is 6'3". I mean, it's just really, really tough. So we're going to see something much different. I think Weeks is faster, a lot more dynamic. Maybe doesn't hit as hard, but I think he's a really, really, really tough guy. And I weirdly think this fight is really similar to the last fight, the Gabe Green fight. He's going to hang in there, stick around long enough to wear him out, and then wrestles a couple times. Yohan's pretty tired, and I think that's wraps. I think this is Darian Weeks. So a couple bets that have my interest. Obviously, Darian Weeks money line. I think that's a great one. Darian Weeks decision, finish, no bet. That'll cover your Yohan KO. Because I don't think Yohan can put together a solid 15 minutes over somebody good. So I like the Darian Weeks decision. Finish is no bet and the money line.
Yeah, you're right. No redeeming qualities. Now, I wouldn't say no redeeming qualities. They both have qualities.
Round one KO.
Like Yohan isn't bad. I mean, he's decent everywhere. He'll wrestle. His jiu-jitsu's not bad. I mean, he's fine. His punches are, the stuff that you look for. He throws, he brings his hand back, he does the right stuff. He loads all of his punches. I mean, everything comes like these big lumbering punches because he puts so much power in them. He's guys with power, they know they have power. They try and touch you. He's slow and he's stiff as shit. But man, he's got good power in his hands. Fucking death touch, man. And then on the other side of that, but with him, like you said, his cardio is so bad. So he's pretty good everywhere. And again, I'm not saying he's amazing everywhere. He's pretty good. He's not bad. But man, that cardio is just atrocious. Against Green, round 1, 3 minutes in, and it was not even a crazy pace. He's just breathing, huffing and puffing. But then on the other side of that, again, we've talked about Weeks. He is actually really good everywhere. And what I think he's probably best at is not getting hit. He evades and he moves and he rolls and he just doesn't take damage. But man, he just doesn't show up to fight. He just doesn't do anything. He's so inactive. Like, gosh, if he would do anything, I would man, take my money. I think I agree with you 100%. I think Weeks wins this. I think it's I don't even know if Yohan hurts Weeks and gasses himself out, or if he just gasses himself out. And I think Weeks is just evasive enough. His wrestling is good. We've seen his wrestling.
Good chin. Yep.
Good chin. No signs of any issues. But honestly, his chin doesn't even matter. His head movement is so good that he just doesn't take damage. And I think he's probably just going to win a decision just from wearing him out after all he has to do is get through round one. Gets through round one, he's probably going to be fine.
I would love to fight a guy like Yohan, and here's why I would love to. I was kind of preaching this for the last few weeks. Like, half of being a good fighter is learning when and how not to fight. Also, if I was Darian Weeks, and I'm gonna message him this, I'm gonna tell him the game plan. I would take Yohan down and let him up, and I would just put my weight on him, just hang on him and let him up, and just hang on him. Put my weight, just make it super tough. Maybe get one punch on the way up, and then I would take him down again, and just hang, and just let him up. Just keep letting him up. The third takedown, he's shot. He's over with. Now you can do what you want. Now your striking is opened up. Now your wrestling is there anytime you want it. He's not going to work to get up. Like, sometimes it's just not fighting. It's like, I don't have to hold this position and use all my strength and energy. Sometimes I can just hang and just be a blanket. So I'd really like to see Darian do that. I'm going to hit him up, and we'll be okay here.
Yeah, I love the bets, Weeks or no bet, but I think I think he's already can do that. We saw that with Ian Gary a little bit, close the distance, grab him, take his back, hang on him. So I think as long as he knows that and he gets your memo, he's going to do that. I like Weeks here, and especially at those odds. I mean, on a money line for Weeks at -119, like, gosh, that's solid. And the other thing, so Weeks definitely got to the UFC too early. Okay, he got there at 5-0, but I'm looking up right now, his amateur record, the dude has, man, what does it list? I mean, he's got to have 20 amateur fights, so he does know what he's doing. I think he got to the UFC a little early. I hope we see him shine, because I really do like Weeks. And I'd like to see him do well in the UFC because he really is talented. He just got there a little too early.
I think so too. He's an IMAF darling.
Yeah. Next up, we have Elise Reed and Melissa Super Mely Martinez. And again, Martinez, first of all, like, she has the body of SpongeBob. Okay,
hey, come on, there's nothing wrong with that, man.
5'2". Her legs are like pencils, and then she just has this square torso with these weird, wild, floatable, inflatey thingy arms. And I mean, it's just a weird, strange structure of a human. And she's 7-0. We last saw her against Desiree Yanez at featherweight. At featherweight, at strawweight. Strawweight. 3 years ago. Yeah. And I thought Desiree won. Going back and watching that, man, I thought Desiree really won that fight. And I think that's...
I messaged her about it today.
You want to know what's funny is I almost messaged her too. So, Desiree has come out and trained with us a little bit for some of Tracy's camps. Really nice girl. And it's so funny that you say that, because I almost messaged her.
She said something to me, and I was like, hey, everybody's talking about you this week. And she's like, what? What could they be saying? And I was like, they're talking about your last fight because you're the last person to fight this girl. And she's like, oh, fuck them. Fuck the team. Fuck the promotion. Fuck the judges.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
honestly,
she should feel that way. Besides that, I mean, I cyber-stalked her a little bit. It looks like she's been kickboxing since we last saw her. I'm wondering if that is a Combate's contract thing needing to run out before they could book her or what. But
she's a huge draw, obviously.
She is a huge draw. She's a kickboxer, but she's not, I mean, man, she does not look great. B. Malecki was a world champion kickboxer. So I'm using air quotes for you guys listening and not seeing. Like, I mean, there's a lot of world champion kickboxers, and man, Super Mely does not look the part. I mean, she's beating up waitresses, bartenders, cocktail lounge girls from Mexico, besides Desiree, who I thought she lost to in that. On the other,
and
other
if we
side
can
of
be
this,
honest about Desiree too, is she wasn't that good at the time. She really was very, very green at the time. Almost no stand up, almost pure wrestling, and honestly, the wrestling wasn't even that great. And she won that fight pretty clearly, like dominated the fight. And no disrespect to Des, because she has gotten a million times better since that time. It was 3 years ago. She was raw at the time, and I thought she still won easily.
Yeah. On the other side of that, we have Elise Reed, who's got a good resume. I mean, her second fight, she beat Jasmine, your love of your life, former love of your life, Jazdavicius. She beat Jillian DeCourcy, Hillary Rose, lost to
You
Sajara
said former?
Eubanks.
You
Yeah,
said
former. Lost to Sajara. But I mean, come on. I mean, she's fighting stars. She's just going to get grappled out there. Beat Corey McKenna and then lost to Sam Hughes. Good resume all in all. She's got a good amateur record. She's a karate girl who just comes and touches and goes. And I mean, she's not a world beater, but she has high volume and she evades well. And she's fighting a kind of a traditional Muay Thai striker who's not, I don't think, a world beater. I really like Elise Reed here for the upset. And she's a dog at, not a crazy dog, but she is. I'm looking right now where are our handy odds. Plus 148. I mean, I can't fathom that. Like, I can't fathom it. I can't fathom it. I think she is, I think she's a solid lock here.
Okay, well, be careful with lock, but I agree with you 10,000%. I'm watching this and I'm very confused as to why. Now, I guess.
Oh, wait, sorry. I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to interrupt really, really quickly. Sorry. We have to qualify this with, I think Elise Reed absolutely wins this based on the tape that we could find. Because I haven't seen anything since the Desiree fight 3 years ago. So who knows what she's going to come out looking like. If she looks anything like what she did look like on the tape that we saw, yes. But then there was a fight recently. It was a women's fight. It was kind of the same thing.
No, I'll tell you what it was. It was
Jazdavicius.
It was Jasmine Jazdavicius versus Natalia Silva, and on tape looked horrible. And then I guess came out like a world beater.
Silva looked amazing. So yes, that's where I'm qualifying that.
I wish I had my Brazilian inside source at the time. I would have asked. She knows Natalia Silva, so next time we'll ask. I'm with you.
Tell me your thoughts on Elise Reed. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you on Elise Reed. I've been critical of Elise Reed because she has obviously flaws, right? So again, this is one that's hard with the redeeming qualities. I mean, if Melissa Martinez decides to go D1 Super Mely, then we're going to have some problems, right? Elise is pretty comfortable staying on her back. She won't get up. One thing I will give her credit for, she's very scrambly, though. She weirdly, in the worst possible ways, kind of finds her way to the top or finds her way out. Her straight punches, super fast. Good kind of in and out movement, decent range. Like, Elise Reed is better than I have ever given her credit for. I don't think she's a world beater by any means, but I like the way that you said it based on the tape that we have available. And as far as me, the way that I do it, I can only go based on what the tape tells me. I lost one a few weeks ago on Contender Series, the Erison Ferreira versus the Aguilar fight. The tape told me Ferreira. The tape told me it wasn't close, and then Aguilar ended up squeaking it out. And of course, that's the fight game. That's what happens. The tape tells me it's Elise Reed. That's what I'm looking at. I think she's the better striker against what looks to be a striker. She's CFFC champion, which I hold in much higher regard than Combates. Just fought better people, done better, been around the UFC a few times, like no octagon jitters, and has fought more recently than 3 years. So I like Elise. She's training with this new guy, this like little college wrestler or something. He's okay. He's okay. And from what I hear, from the grapevine is that Elise is getting good, getting better, much better. So I'm going to go Elise Reed here.
The other thing, and I don't know if I mentioned it, you guys, volume. In women's MMA, especially at the lighter weight, volume. And Elise Reed has the volume. And all things considered, if this stays on the feet, no grappling occurs. And how often do we expect one of these two people to knock the other one out? Volume is key, and Elise Reed is a volume 3, 4, 5 punch comboer. Lots of stuff, lots of flash, lots of volume.
All right, what do we got next?
Well, next up, we have nothing. We've got Chad Anheliger and Heili Alatong, who trains with us. All I'm going to say about this is, man, Heili is awesome. Just a solid guy. And the only other thing is if you look at him just as a human, you have a silhouette. The dude, he actually has a cinder block for a head. It's like a square head. And I don't think it can be hurt. Like, I think you could hit him with a car, and the square block of a head on that human So, we've got him. We've got AQ. AQ just won a very close fight a couple of weeks ago. He looked really good. He didn't. All right, so I'm going to give you guys some inside information after the fact.
Okay.
So, just kind of a funny anecdote. We tell AQ, and they only speak Chinese. All right, so Balajin, we've got a few of them in. We've Denis Badgeril's coming in next week, so we've got some of the Chinese Mongolian fighters over there with us. All awesome humans. Salt Lake City is at elevation, so we tell AQ at the start of camp, hey, you're going to want to do more road work for this, and you're going to want to add some swimming to help with the cardio going up in elevation. And he's like, no, same. Nope, coach, same.
Nice.
I'm like, so we keep pushing him like, hey, have you been running? Have you been swimming? Like, you should really, really swim. Swimming is going to help you at elevation. He's like, okay. We find out he didn't swim. And in between rounds, he goes to Eddie. He goes, it hurts. Points to his chest. And he's like, what, your chest? Like your ribs? Like what? He's like, no. And he takes a deep breath and like his lungs were like burning. He's like, so anyway, so whatever. I mean, he fights, he wins. And then Eddie was like, after the fact, we're like, we told you to run. We told you to swim. We told you elevation was real. And he goes, coach, I know swim. We're like, what? He doesn't know how to swim. And so he was embarrassed. So he didn't want to say that. Yeah. So he was just like, so he just doesn't know how to swim. So he didn't want to like swim. He's like, I can't swim. So I can't add that. So anyway,
he's trying to be tough.
Yeah. So, toughed it out.
I feel for my guy. I went swimming for conditioning the first time last week. I had no idea. I'm used to swimming in pools as a kid, like in Arizona, just having fun. No. This is way different. When you're swimming like for cardio and you're swimming for a workout, my legs were so gassed. They were so burnt. I couldn't stand up in the pool because I'm trying the breaststroke and the butterfly and the freestyle. And I don't know how to do any of these. I couldn't stand. I was so tired. I had no breath. So I can see why it's necessary, very necessary.
Swimming as a conditioning component is very difficult. Now, you don't burn as much fat because you're buoyant, and so you're actually not moving as much weight as you would running. But man, the lactic burn and the lung burn, whoo-wee. So anyway, that's all I'm saying on that. Chad Anheliger, I mean, he's really tough. He's really good. He hasn't lost in a long time, lost early in his career. Really tough fighter. Heili is awesome.
You care if I talk about this one?
No, go for it. I mean, whatever you want to say, go for it.
I just love Heili. I think the first time I met him, he came over to Siege, which is like, we have like this weird like incestual relationship, Fight Ready and Siege. We're like together, but not together, whatever. It's the same.
I'm the father of two families.
Yes. Yes. He came over with AQ, and I think that was my first time meeting him. And I don't know if he knew what to expect with me. And we just, we bumped hands and we just went crazy, like from the start. And ever since that time, every single time that he sees me, he runs up to me, bows, shakes my hand. What's up, brother? How you doing? Like, just Heili is the coolest guy. I've been around. I've submitted a lot of people in my time, and I feel like I'm a pretty good grappler. I've never submitted Heili. Never once. Not one time have I ever. And believe me, I've tried to rip his freaking Mongolian neck right off. And every time I think that my wrestling is good, I'm like, I leveled up. I go wrestle with Heili, and I'm like, wait a minute. All right, I got to start right back at the beginning. So I like Heili. All the things that you said, I think he's tough. He's got good cardio. He can wrestle his ass off, and he's really hard to submit. Chad Anheliger, what is he, 36? All right, next up.
All right, we've got the weird fight, Norma Dumont, Danyelle Wolf. Norma, she's really good. I like her. She fought Macy Chiasson her last fight. It's a weird fight. And then she got knocked out by Megan Anderson. In 2020, so a few years ago. I think she's still pretty young as well. No. Oh, I'm looking at Norma. Jeez. Yeah, gosh, she's 31. I thought she was way younger than that. Anyway, she's got a really good jab, good power in her right hand. I mean, she's tough. I like her. I like her. She's not a world beater by any means. I don't think that she's going to be a champion. but she's tough. She's got good fundamentals of boxing, which I don't think she's going to use at all against Danyelle Wolf, because Danyelle Wolf, as little MMA experience as she has, being 1-0, man, she can really throw. She can crack. She actually legitimately has very good boxing. The thing, though, is that in her one fight that we saw in Contender Series, when I forget her opponent's name, would throw some kicks. Yes, Tanisha Tennant. She would throw some kicks, inside, outside kicks, and it really seemed to like mess with her a little bit. And then she just got in her face and just bullied her and swung on her a little bit, and that kind of messed with her. And then you saw a little bit of the grappling where she could teeter her, and hey, Wolf did the right stuff by kind of framing and being long and tall. We talk about it all the time. Sometimes the best takedown defense is just being tall and awkward on the cage. And she did that. But, you know, she was not going against a world beater. Dumont, I think, is just tougher. I think we're going to see Dumont when she came out against Megan Anderson. I think she's just going to rush her. I think she's going to push her on the cage. I think there are going to be some moments where we're thinking, oh man, Wolf might land this. Oh man. And then she gets clinched and hung on a little bit again and again. I think she's just too late in life. Why didn't she fight she fought that show, the Contender Series. And that was 3 years ago? That was it was almost exactly 2 years ago. And she didn't fight since then. I don't know if they were trying to get her in better shape or what.
She looks like she's in pretty good shape. I mean,
but just give her more time wrestling or something. I don't know. But she's out there at Alliance where, you know, we know some people out there. But my only issue with Alliance now is there really isn't an Alliance. Like Alliance gym itself shut down. So all the people at Alliance kind of go to the boxing gym, over to Victory, over to, you know, 4 or 5 different places. And I don't know that there's a head coach. I don't know that there's one person doing stuff. I think Danyelle Wolf would have done really well to go up to Faber's place, you know, some ATT, somewhere where she's going to get a lot of one-on-one attention with some cage grappling and stuff. I like her. I think she's cute, and I think she hits hard, and I think she looks the part. And I just think she's going to fight somebody a little bit too experienced in MMA. So Dumont all the way here.
Yeah, I was really happy about this fight, like just looking at it before I was looking at the odds. What is Dumont now? Let's see. Sorry, according to Bet Online.
Gosh, I'm not seeing this.
My goodness.
Minus 425.
Okay,
gosh.
So
money has gone on her because she wasn't that high just a couple of days ago.
You know, I like Norma Dumont here. I think she wins here, but minus 420, especially after you watch that last fight with Macy Chiasson, that is such a horrible film on Norma. She just looked like she did not care, and clearly she does not care because she misses weight almost every single fight, right? She's just got those wide hips. It just drives me nuts. It just seems like she is so unprofessional. At the end of the fight, this is something that drove me nuts too. She was like raising her hand like she was going to win the fight, and she went, I don't care. I'm not one of those line is wide guys. If you think she's going to win, play her. It is what it is. Last time I felt convicted. I was like, she is going to whoop Macy Chiasson. It's going to be an easy one. And she did not care 1 ounce. And it's hard for me to pay that price tag on somebody who barely cares. Against somebody who is a boxer, who is going to put volume out there, who's going to throw and make it look competitive. Just a couple sidebars on Danyelle Wolf. She, I don't know if you knew this, is a jiu-jitsu world champion, IBJJF.
Yeah, like a white belt, right?
Yes, a white belt world champion. I actually didn't even know that they had worlds for white belts. I thought it was blue belt and up. Maybe
it was wrong. Blue belt and up, and years ago they changed that for money. Because I mean, think about all the white belts who show up
that want to compete. I'm world champ.
Yeah, but for years it was only blue belt and up, and then white belts have been world champions for many years now.
Yes, that was my glory, my heyday. You know, I think I watched a small clip too. The winning sequence that she had was her jumping to a guillotine, and she is so roided up and crazy. Of course she's going to get that. And then she did that in the Tanisha Tennant fight. In that same fight, she jumps to a guillotine, and then she's a turtle on her back once she's there. All the flaws that Norma Dumont has. She's a decent striker. She manages range well. She's got good, clean punches. Is she going to outstrike Danyelle?
No.
Actually, maybe. You don't think? Maybe?
No, I don't think so, because her boxing is actually really. I really like Dumont's jab. I really like, she pulls and fires an overhand well over a jab. But like, man, Wolf's striking is really, really clean. And more than that, hold on. More than that, she's tall. And that is going to pose. She's tall and has a long reach. Yeah. If she was the same height as Norma Dumont, I think Dumont could brawl with her. And I think with those little gloves, it would, honestly, I think Dumont would probably win it. But with the height and the reach, I think it's going to be a little bit awkward for Dumont. And I don't think she's going to want to stand out there with her in that. So
what's her
range.
path? And she goes takedowns and works grappling? Because
well,
she hasn't shown a ton of that.
I don't even think she needs that. I think she can brawl her way to the inside and push her up against the fence, and then just be durable enough and wait for Danyelle Wolf to do some stuff like jump to guillotines. And
that just seems like such a bad path to victory for somebody who's minus 420. Like, let me push you against the cage. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do nothing dominant in this fight.
Yeah, and we've seen that with her before. We saw that with Aspen Ladd. Remember, I think it was the Aspen Ladd fight that we talked about Dumont as just being heavy hipped and Ladd not being able to get the takedown if she wanted it, and that was it. It was just
and then Macy Chiasson comes in and gets 6 takedowns. I mean, who is Norma Dumont really? Who is she really? We don't know. We don't know yet. Yeah. But last thing I want to say on Danyelle Wolf before we keep talking over each other for the rest of the podcast. She's a 30-14 boxer, and she's 38 years old, you guys. She's 30-14. Now, I'm not the biggest boxing buff of all time, but 30-14 anywhere else, you're still working as a fry cook on the weekends in boxing. I mean, you got to be 26-0. 30-14, and her last few fights, right? She lost to 18-5, 33-9, and then she beat a bunch of people with losing records. And losing records in the women's division, that has to be a really rough life. She lost to a 22-10, which is not great. Like, my problem with a lot of these girls and just a lot of these accolades in general, God, it's tough. It's tough. You're calling yourself a 3-time national champion. You probably won nationals at some tiny show. Like, you're 30-14. You're not some world-class, like insane Clarissa Shields or anything. Come on, She's a 3-time national champion boxer and an IBJJF world champion. I guess technically, by technicalities, all that stuff's true, but it seems like you're trying to kind of milk this hype for more than it is. I don't really know. If you guys could help us out in the comments, why is Super Mely, how or why did she get into the UFC? And then why is Danyelle Wolf in the UFC? Did she get a contract on the Contender Series, or is this kind of like a late? She did? Okay.
Yeah, she got a contract. I didn't know that. So, all right. So 2 things I'm going to give you some info on that you just said. 1, she got a contract on the Contender Series. That was that. But 2, her record, what did you say it was?
30-14.
That is actually an amateur boxing record. That is not pro.
Sick.
That was all amateur. So
you're right.
She was trying to get to the Olympics in 2016, and her thing is she said that they didn't have her weight class, yada yada. Yeah, I don't know if that is it. She is a fitness instructor in San Diego who is an amateur boxer and has abs and should be on the cover of swimsuit editions. That's why she's in the UFC.
Hey, listen, that's tough. My new favorite thing these days.
Hey, that's all I want to see. But she is not, a world beater fighter.
Okay, well, we're on Norma Dumont then, I think, both of us. All right, what do we got
I
next?
think so. Let me pull this up. Jake Collier, Chris Barnett.
Go ahead on this one. I actually skipped this fight. I guess my initial thoughts would be Jake Collier. He's a lot better than people give him credit for. Moves pretty well, but so does Chris Barnett. He moves pretty well too for a guy his size. I imagine this is gonna be a really boring, maybe stand around decision. I would take Collier, but I don't feel crazy conviction on it.
So Barnett, for as well as he moves, it is all kicks. So he kicks. His punches,
Yeah.
he'll throw, but they're wide and loopy, and he's kind of SpongeBob square because he's more of in a kicking stance. When people come inside, now don't get me wrong, homie is looping heaters at people. Like he is throwing some heat when he throws, but his punches are not amazing. It's his kicks that's doing stuff. Now, his grappling is not much. We saw him kind of hurt a rib and try and quit against Boudet, and that was kind of a weird finish. But Boudet was beating his ass every which way you could beat somebody up. We saw him with a wheel kick against John Vellante, which, again, is John Vellante at 290 pounds instead of a 185 pound. Like
he was the only fighter to fight pregnant, like in the cage.
I know. I thought they make people they make women take pregnancy tests before they fight, and somehow let John Vellante fight
fought pregnant.
Did she?
Did you know that she fought pregnant?
No, I didn't. Man. So anyway, Barnett, I love Barnett. I love his entrance. I love his attitude. I love his body style, and he's able to move that way. Love it. Collier is good. Collier is tough. Collier jabs and is in your face nonstop. And when you're jabbing and putting that type of boxing pressure on people, you're not able to kick. The person being pressured is not able to kick. I think Collier is going to be in Barnett's face just nonstop from bell to bell. Just he's got a really good left hook. He mixes the body punches in well. He's got a really good off rhythm that he disguises a lot of stuff. He'll throw a jab, then he'll throw a jab and then dip in and throw a big left hook. And then he throws a jab and he'll dip in and throw it to the body. Then he throws a jab and dips in and comes back and resets a right hand. Really diverse with his attacks, really good pressure, good-ish cardio for the way he fights. Sometimes he looks gassed. Other times he looks like he could go, for ages like that. But I like Collier here. I think his pressure is going to be too much. And I actually wouldn't be surprised to see him get a finish late in the second or in the third round once Barnett really starts to fade and get beat up a bit.
We got to be past the Barnett era. I don't understand that one either. He's an exciting guy. He's a nice guy, but we got to be past that time. It's Collier.
100%. Let me look up those odds really quickly because I think so. Collier's a minus 425 as well. So, but I like him here. I think, you throw that with a over or under or one of your decision no bets type of thing, something a little safer, and you get a little better odds at minus 100, minus 200, something like that. And it might be worth something to throw down on. Take a look at some different things. But I like I said, I like Collier here. And like you said, money lines don't matter if you really like a bet. And I really like Collier here. So,
all right, fair enough.
Next up, we've got Jamie Pickett and Denis Tiuliulin, which I'm actually getting a little sad that I feel like I've heard these names enough where I'm starting to get them somewhat correct. I know some of you guys
We've been through like 4 fight cycles with Jamie Pickett.
Yeah. I mean, well, the dude fights every 6 weeks. So, I mean, geez. Let me hear your thoughts. Pickett, Tiuliulin, what you got?
God, Pickett is like the most frustrating guy on the planet. I mean, he wins ones that we're like, he's never going to win. And then he loses ones we're like, he can make this tricky or grindy, and he doesn't end up doing it. He is one of the toughest ones to me because we still don't know how good he is. Does he have any skills on the feet? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Does he have grappling? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, it's just so tough on this one. Tiuliulin, I think, is getting his shine from the Sean Strickland era. But I think Sean loves him because he's the only guy dumb enough to just get beat up by Sean every single day, who Sean is actually good. And, watching the first fight, I think we talked a little bit about this. I was more impressed with Denis Tiuliulin than I thought I was going to be. The guy that he fought was actually pretty decent, could wrestle his ass off, just big, strong, aggressive, in your face. The one thing that just really tripped me up was he got tired. And if he got tired offensively wrestling and doing all this kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, well, maybe next fight he settles down. He'll learn how to coast it and he'll be okay. But he was just getting taken down and just throwing ones and twos and not really moving much. He wasn't really forced to fight a whole lot of times. And after round 1, I mean, how many comments were there about how tired he was? I didn't like his film pre-UFC. He looks slow. He looks like he gets hit a lot. I don't love Denis. Now, I don't love Jamie Pickett either, but I like Jamie Pickett to win this. I just think he's maybe a little bit faster, just a little bit more well-rounded, and maybe just a little more into the fight. Like Denis just kind of looks like he's just sparring a little bit to me. So I like Jamie Pickett. Again, not a huge lean one way or the other, but I do like Jamie Pickett to get this one done just based on cardio.
Okay. So the cardio thing, I remember him getting really tired. I remember not liking him at all. And then on the tape, I heard he took the fight, his first UFC fight, on like a week notice. So I think that explained a lot. And he even had a couple small victories in that fight. He did get the takedown. A kid popped right back up. I forget his name. And then he survived off the first takedown, and then he did stop a couple of the takedowns afterwards, and he landed a couple of good shots. Yeah, like nothing crazy, but he fought a really, really, really good fighter on a week notice and looked okay. His pre-UFC stuff, he didn't gas the same way. I don't think he is amazing, but Jamie Pickett, let's take a look at you. And since we've been doing this, I think I have been correct on every time we've called Jamie Pickett. I think Staropoli and Holmes and Dawkins, I think it was 3 fights so far that I believe I got correct on all of those. And the thing with Pickett is he just does nothing. He pushes people against the fence, and we know that. And he wasn't able to do that. And he's athletic, he's long, but he really doesn't like to strike. He throws these really awkward strikes, and he doesn't want to fight. He wants to grapple and he wants to win, but he is really not comfortable striking. Tiuliulin, his boxing is decent. He does the right stuff. His cardio is not the worst. He is going to – the way that Pickett is going to win this fight is if he can just push Tiuliulin against the cage for 15 minutes. There's going to be a crowd. I think the judges have been leaning to – yeah, and they're going to cheer when anything happens, and they're going to boo when nothing happens. And I think Tiuliulin is going to strike and be able to get off the fence and be able to throw enough punches and look the part enough to win the fight against Pickett, who – I mean, Pickett's wins are a decision against Holmes and a decision against Staropoli, where he just held them against the fence, and Holmes died after round 1. Then he lost a decision to Nchukwi, got knocked out by Jordan Wright. I mean, he is not a world beater here, and I don't think Tiuliulin is going to have a great, huge upside, but I actually wouldn't even be surprised to see Pickett get TKO'd here. By Tiuliulin, or I'm not saying throw your money on the bet, but I like Tiuliulin here. He's a dog. I think he's a dog. Let me see the odds. He was, I think, last time I looked. Where are you? Plus 115. So I think that's a really good bet. I think honestly, even if he was minus 150, I still like Tiuliulin here as a bet.
Okay. Alrighty. What is up next? We have Jailton, Almeida, and Anton Pleasureman Turkalj.
Tell us about this, because I know you love some Jailton Almeida.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I'm not like it's not going crazy saying I bet Jailton the last few times, but I did bet him on Contender Series. I like Jailton. He's got a really good double leg, which is unique. This is something that actually Kamala and I talked about on vacation. It's really rare to have a jiu-jitsu guy who can wrestle or a wrestler who's got good jiu-jitsu. And that's all that Jailton has found is he's a really, really good jiu-jitsu guy, like legitimately very, very good jiu-jitsu guy that's got a nice blast double. And it's really, really surprising. Man, I hate the Pleasure Man's tape. I do not think this guy is very good. I bet against him, and it was an awful, awful bet. I mean, he won the fight. It wasn't really close at any point, except for on the feet maybe. But I don't think this guy is any good at all. They're fighting at a catch weight of 220, so he can be on all the bomba in the world. I mean, let's just make this one really easy and a really short one so we can wrap this bad boy up. But we got Jailton here.
Absolutely. I mean, but not only does Jailton have a beautiful blast double, he's got good body locks. I mean, that's why he's taking that Russian down in the Contender Series. I mean, he was body locking him. He even got hip toss put on his back and would scramble back up in a half guard, build his base back up, come up body lock, and then just pick the kid up, throw him down. Dude, I mean, he's good. He is really, really good. And you said it, man. Anton is fucking god awful. Like, shit. His jiu-jitsu is okay. What's he going to do against Almeida? His stand-up is some of the worst I have ever seen in the history of the sport. And the only thing I don't like about Jailton Almeida in this fight is that he's minus 800.
Oh,
well, in his name. No, he's minus 800. And, but I think, gosh, there's got to be a good bet. I don't want to waste too much time digging them up here while we're here. So this is even worse odds, but Almeida inside the distance or no, you're inside the distance minus 1,000. If it goes the distance, no action. I mean, I think Almeida here by submission. Find it if you can find any decent odds of anything with Almeida inside the distance or by submission or Almeida money line or anything you can find that's not minus 2 billion, take it. But yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about Almeida here is that the odds are steep. The odds are in his favor, and they freaking should be because I don't.
Just like every bet I've ever made, I wish everything was plus 10,000 million. So
yeah,
you take something, All right, next up we got Hakeem Dawodu versus Julian Erosa. Go ahead on this one.
Man, Erosa is a tough son of a bitch. He's tall. You want to know what he reminds me of is physically and the way that he moves and his toughness is George Roop.
Caitlin Chukagian? Oh.
Yeah. Caitlin Chukagian and former, UFC fighter. I think he was in the UFC. I know he was WEC, but I don't remember if he transitioned over to the UFC or not. It's been so freaking long. But George Roop, a Tucson guy, just too tall for the weight class. So he had to kind of like crouch down and kind of this awkward stance. And Erosa's stand-up it's so weird because it's not great, but it's effective. He switches stances. His head leans offline. He's like just so awkward and gangly, but he throws well and he's, somewhat effective and he's just tough as freaking nails, man. His wrestling's not great, but it's serviceable. His toughness is through the freaking roof. And man, he's got a darce for days. He just finds chokes. He finds people sleeping and just being lazy for a minute, and he just grabs their freaking neck. He did it with Jourdain. He did it with Woodson. Gosh, he really is a tricky son of a bitch. And then on the other side of that, you have Dawodu, who is clean. He is just clean. This, to me, is Nathaniel Wood and Jourdain of last week. A lot of people were like, Jourdain. He does all this stuff. He's awesome. Hey, we love Jourdain. But we said on the podcast, I think you specifically said, Nathaniel Wood just doesn't make mistakes. So, like, how do you capitalize? You've got to go. You have two really good guys in Jourdain and Nathaniel Wood. You've got to go with the guy who makes less mistakes, and that's Nathaniel Wood. And to me, that's Dawodu here. He just beautiful fast jab. I mean, his head movement is great. Everything is super sharp. His kickboxing is through the roof. His defensive wrestling is okay, and he's serviceable on the ground, and he does the right stuff and knows how to get back up and isn't going to stay on his back. I like him here. I like Dawodu. That's it. I like Dawodu. I think he is just a solid fighter. And man, honestly, I think his career, I think he's a solid guy to be coming up over the next couple of years to look out for.
Yeah, he's a big stud. I really thought he was going to get tested in that last fight against Trizano. Kind of the read is like that really tall, gangly guy who's just so freaking tough and never stops coming forward and just out volumes you. And we didn't really see that. I mean, he picked him apart, leg kicked him to all hell. Like, he's really, 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 really solid. I like Hakeem, and I'm on board now. I used to not necessarily be on board, but now I'm on board. I believe Erosa, I have always defended. I've always stood up for Erosa because I do like Erosa, Juicy J. I think he's very, very tough. But he does, as good of a fighter as he is and as tough and gangly as he is, he makes really bad mistakes and he doesn't have the chin to justify it. He's always keeping his hands down at his waist, right? So he can kind of have that swagger and that roll and that appeal. But his chin does not match the style that he has. I mean, he needs a Tai Tuivasa chin. Like, he needs something crazy to be having that kind of style. And he gets chinned every fight. I guess I look at it like this. He went out life and death last fight with Peterson. Now he's fighting Hakeem Dawodu. Do we think Peterson and Dawodu are on the same plane? No, not even close, right? Hakeem is faster and sharper everywhere, probably hits harder, makes better decisions, not throwing spinning double back fists and everything like that. I think this one is going to be fairly easy for Hakeem. And that's me liking Julian Erosa. But I think Julian Erosa's best big wins are kind of behind him. I mean, he's upset a lot of people and beat people that he wasn't supposed to. And then he lost to people that he was supposed to steamroll. So I think his winning ways are done, and I like Hakeem a lot here.
Yeah, one other thing to mention with Erosa's height is he doesn't use his reach advantage at all. He's just there swinging and going, and just, we'll see that later with Holland. Just they have these amazing reach advantages, and they close the distance for their opponents. Like, what are they doing over there? And speaking about spinning back fists, today we saw C-Rod sparring, and he threw something, I don't even remember what it was. And then on his return, threw a spinning back fist, spun the other way, threw another spinning back fist, and then came back and threw another spinning back fist. 3 spinning back fists in one little sequence combination. All of them landed like a speed bag. Super impressive. Anyway.
Nice, C-Rod.
Dawodu for the win. And he's at minus 200, you guys. So, I think that's a steal at that price. Minus 200. Like, man, Dawodu's solid. He is a solid ass fighter. He is a solid fighter. You guys get on the train. He's going up the ranks.
Fine, let's do it. Alrighty, next up,
Cutelaba, Johnny Walker. Who do you got? Why? I know you love you some Ian Cutelaba.
Well, do I or do I not? Oh my God. So here's part of the reason, guys, we love Bet Online. When there was the week with no MMA, Bet Online was like, all right, guys, we're big fans of MMA over here. We're going to release 5 different promotions, and they gave us odds for everything. And I thought I found this brilliant spot. I was like, oh my God, nobody knows about this one except for me. I found this, it was a middleweight. He was a Moldovan super soldier middleweight. Apparently he was a Sambo world bronze medalist. Okay, he's 4-4, so a little shaky on that one, but he's a middleweight. He looked like Cutelaba, and he was fighting a guy who had just lost 2 weeks ago, who was a lightweight, moving up to fight 155, and his record was 4-8 or something like that. So you got all these facts. Lightweight with a record of 4-8, fighting Moldovan super soldier after he just lost 2 weeks ago. And I was telling everybody, hey, get on board. This is sick. We're never going to find this kind of spot again. It's 3 weight class difference. And then he KOs the freaking Moldovan guy in 1 round. Come on. I can't catch a break here. So Moldova's on my shit list. But this is kind of the theme that I was talking about earlier. Johnny Walker has no redeeming qualities. I mean, he's exciting. He's cool. But here's the thing with Johnny Walker. If he goes guns blazing and he's Johnny Walker of old, sick. If he can get that first round knockout when he goes insane, that is awesome. He's dynamic and explosive and super, super exciting. If he doesn't get that knockout and he fights that style, he's shot. He's toast. Now, if he does the inverse, where he's very calm like he was with Santos, he doesn't throw a lot of volume. He doesn't do very much. And now you're worried about a bad decision because he's not throwing anything. So the things that make him so great and exciting are also the things that are going to make him lose. And I think we've said that a million times before. Cutelaba, say what you want about him. He's a tough bastard. He's a very good wrestler. I couldn't be more impressed with Cutelaba's wrestling sometimes. And, we're critical of wrestling a lot of times, but I'm so impressed with him. He got caught in that stupid thing last time, but Span's good at those guillotines. He really is. He catches them on a lot of people. I think Cutelaba either KOs Johnny Walker and that glass chin. Johnny Walker and Jason Witt are having a competition for their chins. Like, it's a close heat. It's really, really close. And like the most like insane KOs, like bouncing and then your body's like stiffening up. It's just insane at this point. So I like Cutelaba here. I think he's going to finish Johnny Walker. This is obviously a high risk fight. Johnny Walker is that guy. He is dynamic and could chin Cutelaba in 3 seconds. It could always happen, of course. But man, I think Cutelaba is just the more well-rounded fighter and probably not as scared because he's not getting chinned every second of every fight.
Yeah, Cutelaba is not bad as a fighter. He just, who was it last week? We were talking about that. Who had glimpses of decency. He was fighting Abu. Who fought Abu? Was it Stolfus?
Yeah, Stolfus.
Yeah. Who just you watch him and you're like, man, he does some stuff that's pretty good, and then he's winning all of a fight with Mearshart with like 2 minutes left, like falls to his back and pulls the worst leg lock attempt I've ever seen and gets finished. And that's Cutelaba to me, where he's really not bad. His stand-up's not bad. It's not great. He throws hard. His wrestling is pretty good. Holy shit, his just fight IQ is just some of the worst anyone has ever seen in the history of fight IQs. He just, gosh, he'll just find a way to lose. Man, and then Johnny Walker on the other side is, I don't know if he has any fight IQ. He just goes out there. He's just a big, large, lumbering human that's just awkward to deal with. That said, I'm going Johnny Walker here.
Oh my God, come on, man.
Yeah, I think I think Johnny Walker is actually better than people think he is. His knockout losses are to Jamal Hill, who is really good, and Corey Anderson, who is really good.
I love me some Corey Anderson.
Right. I mean, those are two solid humans. Then Johnny Walker had 4, counting Dana White's Contender Series, 4 wins in a row, lost to Anderson. The reason why I'm going Johnny Walker here is actually the Nikita Krylyov fight. And Krylyov wrestled him a lot. Okay, don't get me. He wrestled him, and I don't think he's as good of a wrestler as Cutelaba. But Johnny Walker had moments where he was defending takedowns and he was getting on top, and his jiu-jitsu is decent from, his back, his butterfly guard, and was getting back to his feet. I think if you guys can find some odds out there, go Cutelaba by decision, or maybe even not. Do Johnny Walker finish or no bet, something like that. Because I think that Cutelaba can find a way to leave his chin. Just his stance alone, Johnny Walker's going to be firing flying knees and head kicks and spinning stuff. And I don't know that Cutelaba is a finisher. And he's so much shorter than Walker that I think those big looping right hands and overhand lefts or hooks, whatever you want to kind of call them on Cutelaba, I just don't think they're going to land that much. So I think Cutelaba is going to have to wrestle Walker. And I think Walker has the better cardio of the two. I think
really,
yeah, I think he does. Neither of them have great cardio, but I think actually, especially the way that Walker fights. I mean, you look at that Krylyov fight, and again, he got tired, but he was still fighting toward the end. He got on top. He was defending takedowns, using butterfly hooks, and still throwing wild stuff. I am not big on Johnny Walker, just with the skill set and the craziness and all of the weirdness. But I think he's gonna find Cutelaba's chin at some point with some of that weirdness, and just whether it's really early in the fight in the first couple minutes, or it's late in the fight once Cutelaba is tired.
Can I defend like Cutelaba a little bit though?
Oh, absolutely.
The cardio thing was a big deal at the beginning of his career. He has gotten so much better at it, and he's kind of learned how to pace himself and fight. I mean, didn't he win the third round in the Devin Clark fight? Dustin Jacoby fought really hard for a long time. Like, I think he's getting better with the cardio, and big Moldovan blanket, that's going to run your cardio a little bit.
Well, with Jacoby, I thought he did get tired, and I thought Jacoby just didn't put the gas on like he should have. Against Devin Clark, man, that was a horrible performance by Clark. I mean, he got dropped 500 times. He looked bad. He's shooting and pulling guard. Like when somebody shoots in and pulls guard, it's kind of hard to gas out. Like, I don't know. I don't think that using the Devin Clark example is a good example. And the Jacoby fight's only 3 fights ago. So I don't know, man.
All right, you're talking me into Johnny Walker, and I don't want to be talking to Johnny Walker, so let's just move on.
Cutelaba is so decent everywhere with just finds ways to lose, man. So I can't bet on him. If you guys don't want to bet on him, on Walker, I get that, but I cannot bet on Cutelaba. Can't do it. All right, next up we've got Irene Aldana and Macy Chiasson. You kick this one off because this was my whatever fight you didn't watch tape on. Now, I watched tape on these two. I actually did. And
we do better when we don't watch tape. When we phone it in, like we had a great week last week. I barely watched anything.
I actually watched a lot of tape last week, but I was watching this fight. And I was watching this fight and a good amount of both of their fights. And I just got so bored. I was like, I'm out. I couldn't do it. It just was painful to me. So let me hear your thoughts. I'll give you guys a quick touch on mine.
Yeah, I don't know how Irene's not like, I hate to say like, man, I'm so confident in this one, but I don't know how Irene's not like a huge favorite here. People love Macy Chiasson, and I don't know if it's the size. I don't know if it's like the dike cut or whatever it is. They love it. And I don't understand because her striking looks fine for a couple minutes, and then she gets hit for the first time, and now she's kind of shelling up and like really timid and won't throw as much. She wrestles and not well, and she gets dog tired, and I don't understand it. I saw a comment, somebody was saying that every time Irene gets touched, she freaks out. And we talk about this all the time. That's almost a good thing. Like she's not relaxing in positions and allowing herself to get taken down or to get double underhooks or something, spots that are going to be bad. She is recognizing it right away and she's getting out to where she's comfortable. And that is something that I really, really like about her. I don't think she's like a huge advantage in the stand-up as opposed to Macy, but I think where she's going to really shine is the cardio. I don't think it's going to be close. I think she'll put that volume on her. Wrestling wise, I think she can defend those. And even if she doesn't, she'll be back up. Now, the one thing that was really, really telling to me last fight when Macy fought Norma, at the end of the fight, they're doing the post-fight interview and they're talking about, well, what weight class do you want to go to? 135 and 145. She gave 50 reasons why she doesn't want to fight 135. She's like, it's just such a big cut. People think I can't make it. I feel more power at 45. I feel better at cardio at 45. And all that stuff looked horrible at 45. So now she's making the cut back down to 35 against somebody that's their main attributes is kind of like their movement and their cardio. I love Irene here. This is, I think a spot I'm going to play pretty decent.
Okay. Yeah. The awkwardness of Macy, I think, is going to pose some problems a little bit early. The stance switching, the movement, the kind of touching here and there. But yeah, when the fight starts happening and they start throwing down, I think Irene is going to win in the pocket and when it matters. And I don't love either of them, but I like. But you said it. Irene's cardio is going to win. And she is just a little bit more dog in the fight. And I like her sense of urgency. I love a sense of urgency with fighters. So whoever said that's just weird. I want to see people panic in bad positions and find themselves resting in better positions. So I'll ride with you here on Irene. I don't know. Macy is such a weird, awkward fighter that I just don't think she's going to put Irene away. And I think Irene is just a better, I don't know, just a tougher, better cardioed fighter who will try and get back up and force the fight. So I'm with you. That's all I'll say. Cause I don't know. This one lost
Macy's your fighter, so you can't say that much. So
yeah, exactly. All right. Next up, we've got Kevin Holland, Daniel Rodriguez. We barely spoke about this earlier. Is Kevin Holland the most frustrating person to see fight on the planet?
Just with black? That's pretty Bold of you.
He has a 8,000 inch reach. He's super
His arms, his legs, or
talented.
what?
Yes, all of the above. I mean, he's super talented. He's got good jujitsu. He's so calm in there. He does so much of the right stuff. And then he just is so, he gets dropped in every fight because he's got these long arms and he doesn't stay at range. He lunges in. I forget, it was I think it was against Cowboy where he was outside and just leapt in. He headbutted Cowboy's fist from 5 feet away, and of course he gets dropped and he recovers well. He really does. But we saw him there. We saw him actually in that Dawkins fight get chinned as well. I mean, that was a headbutt, but that was a nasty shot, and those things take tolls. With the Oliveira fight, we saw him. I mean, actually, we saw Oliveira kind of picking him apart in that first round, and then of course he came back and clipped him. Gosh, he just is so frustrating to watch because of these weird decisions that he makes. And then the other part is his wrestling. He's been talking about his wrestling getting better since he first got in the UFC. I think it's gotten worse. Like there is no wrestling. Like it's just like, what is he doing? I don't know. I want to see, he's a guy I want to see a sense of urgency. And in round 2 against Oliveira, we did see a sense of urgency. That I want to see. I want to see a sense of urgency. I don't want to see him shaking hands and slapping hands and being okay and saying, hey, good job, buddy, and going in there. On the other side of that, we've got Rodriguez, who's a tough southpaw with good cardio and, is just in your face fighting you the whole time. And not a huge kicker, but has decent wrestling as well. Like not world beater wrestling, but will shoot, will get a takedown, will pick you up and dump you, and has decent grappling. I could see Holland getting taken down a couple of times, but Holland does a good job of using his jiu-jitsu to get back up, attacking the leg, scrambling, doing stuff. His jiu-jitsu is good.
I really like his jiu-jitsu.
Would say you do really like it?
I really like his jiu-jitsu. It's one of my favorite guards really in MMA right now. Is good. Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, you guys, Holland should win this. He is a favorite. Let me see the odds on this. Kevin Holland is minus 190 and Daniel Rodriguez is plus 165. Holland should win this. He's a more talented guy. He has more ways to win. At some point, watch Holland get knocked out. He is going to rush in and lunge in and throw his face into people's fists at some point. I don't think it's against Rodriguez, but I think Rodriguez's reach is going to be an issue. His range, Holland's range, is going to be a little bit of an issue. I like Rodriguez, but I don't think he's going to be the one to derail Kevin Holland. But at some point, Holland is going to be a favorite in one of these type of situations, and he's going to get flatlined. So I don't think it's this fight, but it's probably going to be coming here soon.
I hate this fight because I actually like both of these guys. First of all, I do want to say this. I saw D-Rod. I went to the fights here in Phoenix at the pay-per-view when Oliveira was fighting Gaethje. D-Rod was sitting by himself, nobody around, didn't care. He is literally the coolest guy that I have ever seen. He almost reminds me of like a weirdly like Henry Corrales. Like he's just the coolest guy that I've ever seen or met. And I'm like, that guy's just cool. Just looking at him. He's so cool. And he's good. I think he's really good. Like if we're talking technical for technical, we talked about that and you were saying that a little, a second ago, is Holland lunges in so badly. He's got these really long arms and refuses to use it. He punches, chin out in the air, everything, closing this distance without using his range. And D-Rod is almost the opposite. I mean, he uses the range well. He's pinpoint accurate sniper, and then we'll put volume, and he really picks his times well, when to fight, when not to fight. Kevin Lee fight was really, really impressive too, right? He lost the first round, clearly got taken down. He breathes easy and goes right back to work. That being said, one thing I do like about Kevin Holland is his cardio seems to be unlimited. I mean, he almost reminds me of like a 6-year-old that's running a mile, right? Like they can run like the fastest mile time ever because they literally never get tired. And for some reason, maybe his immaturity, that's his cardio gift, is he just never gets tired. I don't know how or why. I just have to, like, in my gut, trust that Kevin Holland wins. technically, if we're looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, D-Rod is, pretty decent striker. I just like have to trust in my gut. Like Kevin Holland is going to show up and somehow, some way, he's going to pull it out of his ass and he's going to win. He's way more dynamic. He's way faster. D-Rod's got the dad bod a little bit. Kevin Holland's got really good jiu-jitsu, and maybe this is the fight we do see the wrestling. We saw that as kind of a hole in D-Rod's game is the wrestling and staying on his back. So maybe this is the time that we see it. I like Kevin, and I don't have a reason why. Like nothing on tape is telling me one way or the other, because really at the end of the day, it's going to come down to them sitting in the pocket and trading, and who's going to walk out of that pocket still standing. And I don't know really, I can't say for a fact, like Kevin's going to break him down with jabs and then blast a low kick, and that's his path to victory, or he's going to take him down, take his back. I don't think so, and I don't know. But just a gut would say Kevin Holland.
I am glad you said that, because that is honestly like how I'm feeling about this. Watching tape, I almost think D-Rod should win, because he just doesn't, not should win, but could win.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to really like about him. But I just have to say that Kevin Holland will find a way to win. Almost like Brian Ortega. He just finds a way to win, even if he's losing 14 minutes and 58 seconds. And with 1 second left, he's going to pull a hat trick and get the victory somehow. I don't know how. And that's why I say at some point he's going to get finished, because I think eventually his chin is not going to hold up with where it has lately. But yeah, I just have to trust that he's going to find a way to win.
All right, fair enough. And that's all it's about. All right. Oh my God, we're almost there.
We're cruising, yeah. We've got Jingliang and Tony Ferguson.
Hey, hold on. You know what made me mad last week? Like, all right, we're going to come on here and we're going to do a really, really quick podcast. I think we did like today we've done 20 minutes, like 15, 20 minutes, just chit chatting, whatever, before we kind of got started. This one is already going faster than last week's when there was less fights and we were trying to go faster on them. How is this possible? I feel like we've been talking nonstop. I almost need like a refresher, like a throat refresher. I don't know.
We need an intermission. We need an intermission right now. Go get some ice cream, grab a soda,
some LaCroix.
Come back.
Yes.
Yep. Get some more LaCroix. Yeah, we're flying through these. I think we're not spending as much time breaking them down on an individual level for a lot of them, because I think a lot of these on a technical level are kind of self-explanatory. I don't think, and honestly, there's not a lot of great technicians on here that you want to, I mean, Jamie Pickett and Denis Tiuliulin, like, what are you going to break down on a technical level? Pickett's pushing you against the fence and awkward athleticism.
That is an art too. Why don't discredit the arts? That is an art, pushing on the fence.
Yeah, I mean, against Denis Tiuliulin, who really doesn't do a lot, but will probably not get pushed on the fence and has serviceable boxing and is kind of tough. I mean, like Collier and Barnett. I mean, this is not rocket science,
high level
you guys.
Stuff.
You don't need us for this card, you guys. All right, next up, we've got Jingliang, who's 19-7 against Tony Ferguson, who's 25 and about 1 billion knockouts and craziness later. Like, I don't even know. Break this fight down for us. Let me hear your thoughts.
Oh, pardon me. Well, first off, let's start with the ages. That's always something interesting. How old is so we got 34, which some would say is, still in the backside of the prime, versus 38. We got a guy moving back up to 170 versus a guy who's been there for a little while. Okay. I think Tony, he did well in the last fight. At the same token, the reason I think he did so well is because of how Michael Chandler was fighting him. He was coming in the pocket, throwing looping bombs, trying to take Tony's head off. And Tony, all he had to do was do nothing. He just had to stay there, not shy away, not be afraid to get hit. And he was, tossing out just 2 straight punches. It's almost like we saw back in the day with Dominic Cruz and Cody Garbrandt. Dom's doing all this crazy stuff, and then he comes in to throw, and all Cody Garbrandt does is hold his ground and throw a straight punch, and he's dropping them and getting this kind of stuff. So, yes, he did look great in that fight until he got taken down, and then he got elbowed and tries all his rubber guard stuff. I think the game has just passed by Tony so badly. He has gotten so far on chin and cardio. I think Lee's got good cardio. He trains at a really good gym at Sanford. He's come a long, long way in his time. I mean, he's knocking guys out now. The guy he just fought was a pretty technical wizard. Muslim Salikov is really, really solid, and he's somebody that I like to watch a lot just for my personal fighting. And got kind of an awkward style. It's not predictable, just like Tony. It's kind of like switching stances and side to side and a lot of movement. He handled him well. He found his openings. He mixes in the wrestling occasionally just to give you a look for it. I don't want to be hyperbolic here because it's Tony Ferguson, whatever. I think Lee is an easy play here. I mean, the chin, the cardio, the decision-making, the skill level, really. The game's a little bit past Tony for me. I like Lee here.
So I was going to break this down on a technical level. You could talk about Lee's stance and he does a lot to keep people at bay.
It's just hard with him too, because he's like,
We could talk about that. We could talk about Ferguson's, wrestling in the past, his darces, his jiu-jitsu, his toughness. None of that matters, you guys. Stop. Tony Ferguson is a legend of the sport. All right. He's the guy. But so was Diego Sanchez at some point, and he just stopped winning. And so was Chuck Liddell, and so were Randy Couture, and all of these guys. At some point, the legends die. Tony Ferguson could win, this Saturday. And if you bet him, it was the wrong bet. And he could win the next fight, and if you bet him, it was the wrong bet. And he could win the next 10 fights, and he is not the right bet. He's 38. Everything is shot. Like, we're living in the past here. And the thing with fighting, and fighters always live in the past. And we always remember, well, what if the old so-and-so shows up? Well, they don't, because Father Time has taken them. All right. Like that, the 38-year-old version of Tony Ferguson will never be the 32-year-old version of Tony Ferguson. It doesn't work that way unless he's on TRT. Then we saw that with Vitor and Hendo.
TR Tony.
And these, TR Tony. And until TR Tony shows up, whoever is across from him, this is either Jingliang Lee or no bet. Like, don't bet on Tony. There's no reason to bet on him ever again for the rest of his career, because he's shot goods for all we know. And he's just fighting because he probably doesn't know what else to do with his life. And he needs a paycheck. And this is what he does. And he can get a paycheck here. And in his mind, he's thinking that he can pull a hat trick. But man, magic's not real, guys. It's all an illusion. And the Tony Ferguson that we all love is in the past. And unless you have a time machine, you don't bet him.
I think you said it the right way. If he wins, it's not the right bet. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah. It just, Father Time comes and Father Time collects. And he was past due, and his payments were in arrears, and Father Time came collected for a lot. So, all right, we've got Chimaev and Nate Diaz for our main event. Before we get into the fight, have you seen the recent stuff about Diaz stating how he never asked for this fight? He didn't want this fight. He turned it down. He didn't want anything to do with it. And the UFC was like, nope, this is it. This is your fight. And he's like, F Chimaev, F the UFC, F everyone. And basically he's like, they want me to lose because he wants to go box, so they don't want to let him go. So they want him to leave on a loss. And basically he was saying, well, fine, you get me to leave. This is how you do it. I was like, kind of already sounds
not very
like,
convincing. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of already sounds like he knows he's being thrown to the wolf, and that he knows that
clever,
this is where this is going. And he just wants out of his contract no matter what, so he can go fight Jake Paul or one of these guys and make millions of dollars doing that. He doesn't care if he wins or loses. He just wants out of his UFC contract. So
I just, what are the UFC script writers going to say? That's the thing we don't know, is like, what have the UFC script writers put in? Maybe that's what they're going to get us with, is everyone's going to bet their mortgages and their life savings on Chimaev. And the script writers are like, wait a minute, we got you. It's actually Diaz who comes out on top. Just like the Usman Leon fake. They thought, oh, you got it. No. I don't think there's much to say on this fight. I mean, better wrestler, better striker, better pretty much everywhere. The cardio, I guess, is always the big thing, but how tired is Chimaev going to get when he can just drop him instantly? He can probably hang out on top for as long as he wants. Diaz, if all this stuff you're saying is a thing, and we kind of known that it was a thing, they forced him into this fight. Like, what's his motivation to really fight hard? He doesn't have much. He's kind of defeated. I guess the way is how are we going to play this? Is it, Chimaev in round one? Is it under 2.5 rounds? Is it by submission? Like, how do we play this? And that's where the guessing game is. I think everything's obviously on the one side, and just how do we hit this? If I had my best guess, I'd say probably submission.
I would say Chimaev by finish or no bet. Or Chimaev. See, I don't even think.
Why do you even need to do that? Yeah, why do you need no bet?
I think Chimaev by TKO. Some sort of a ref stoppage, whether it's a cut or Chimaev just has his back, has him flattened out, and is just kind of punching him, and the ref says, all right, that's enough. Diaz has lost 13 times to significantly less talented fighters than Chimaev, and he usually loses to grapplers. I mean, to Dos Anjos, people who can out wrestle him and he can't submit. Thompson knocked him out, with that head kick, but Benson Henderson. We saw this fight years ago, actually, when he moved up to 170 with Dong Hyun Kim. I mean, just ragdolled him. I mean, hell, Leon Edwards' last fight in round one, shot in, took him down, took his back, and had back control, when the round ended. I think Chimaev is easily going to be able to close the distance, throw him to the ground. And honestly, I think the only way Diaz wins this is if a Connor 1 situation happens where Chimaev is just swinging, teeing off, trying to murder him, and just gets so tired that,
could you imagine?
He falls over.
Could you imagine?
I can.
Well,
that's actually imaginable. That's the only imaginable way I see this fight going. That's the only way that I see Diaz winning. Is if, hell, we saw Diaz hurt Leon in was it round 4, round 5 of that fight? I think it was round 5. And he hurt him. And if you can't put Diaz away, he's dangerous for 25 minutes. I think Chimaev will probably put him away, but Diaz is a dangerous son of a bitch for 25 minutes. And
I guess we just have to live bet this and watch after this, like some mauling of a round. So round 1, round 2, just watch this complete mauling. And then you just take a little bit of live on Diaz, like after the odds are crazy, and just have fun with it. Don't be serious on this fight, guys. Come on.
We always say that. We don't bet a ton on main events anyway. There's just, with 5 rounds, so much weird shit. Look at the Edwards-Usman fight. Usman was winning that fight and slipped up in the last minute of the last round and got knocked out badly. 5-round fights are unpredictable. So there's so many better spots on the card here. If you love Chimaev, go for it. If you want to bet Diaz because he's such a big dog, throw $50 on Diaz. And expect to lose it, but hopefully you made some. If you made good money earlier in the fight or early in the card, throw some money on Diaz for nothing more than just. It's Diaz at. Let me see the odds here. It's Diaz at plus 900. Those are Edwards odds. Throw a little money down. Expect to lose it, but if something fun happens, great. Or like you said, live bet it. I think Chimaev is a play here, but weirder shit has happened.
Is that a motorcycle?
That was a motorcycle that just went flying by my house. Yes.
Are you about to get invaded by the Yakuza? What's happening? I watched Fast and Furious with the little Uzis.
Yep. Man, hopefully no Yakuza. It's 10:18. We got this in slightly under an hour and a half, which is like a record time.
Wow.
And man, we've got some good fights. Remember betonline.ag. Get 50% sign up bonus or deposit bonus with SDMMA. Always make sure to drink your LaCroix, and we'll see you on the Patreon and the Discord. I don't know.
See you guys.
I don't know what else you like. Promote the art again in your background. I've got Kamwele gave me that picture in the background. You guys, me holding mitts for my son. I don't know. We'll find something to pedal.
Yeah, he's so good at editing. We did that whole trip, and he put together all the slideshows and the Mario Kart thing. That guy is so talented at editing. It's really impressive. This art, guys, this is Ellen Grossman Originals. This is a lady who didn't know who Jay-Z was on the subway. So if you're a new subscriber, now you got it. That's what it is. I love Jay-Z. Yeah. That's all we got. That's it today.
Yeah, you know, I got this on my desk. It's a bourbon decanter that Double J got me. It's a donkey holding a world. You could probably buy that somewhere. I just want to sell you guys stuff at this point. If you guys want to DM me, I'll sell you that.
All right. Well, that's another show in the books, guys.
We'll see ya.